So this is our Angular application. We created a new Angular patient application, and then um, we created a patient list. So now this patient list should populate with the list of patients. So the list of patients should come from um, the list of patients should come from API. So our Angular application need to communicate with API, and there is a API method get patient list, and this Angular application should call that method so that the API will return the data, and the data need to be displayed here. So how can we do that? So in order to do that, we can have services. We can have services. So how to create a service? That's what we are going to see now. So go to src app. So here I'm going to create a folder called new folder, services. So go to services. Let me check something. Yeah. So within the services, how to create a service. Now, how to create a service. ng generate service, s means service, and name it as patient service. So I'm going to create a service here within the services folder. So created a service.ts. So within the services, you have patient services, and this can have methods. So if you see how a service got created, import injectable Angular core and @injectable provider in. These are the, so this injectable will make a class as a service, and a service class patient service class created. So basically you no need to prefix with service. Automatically it will have a service.cs. So this service can have methods. Okay, so I can define the methods. So these services can have methods like get patient information, get patient information. Okay, so first we will see how simply we can call this. So return this is patient information. So just we will see how to call this method and return and display that on your component. Okay, so now I created a service, and that service has a method get patient information, and that's returning a variable, a text called this is patient information. Okay, so now come here and I need to use that patient information here. I need to use the patient information service, whatever I created within this form. So how can we use any service within the controller? So any idea? And what is that called? So we use dependency injection. We use dependency injection here to use the service within the component. Okay, so how can we do that? So first import the class here. Import from services src app services patient service. What is the class name? Patient service. So I'm going to declare a patient service here. So now we are going to learn how the dependency injection works here. So you can declare patient service of type patient service. So here it is little bit different. The syntax and semantics will be like JavaScript or TypeScript. So private underscore patient service of type patient service, and this patient service, it's only declared here at line number 10, and this is going to initialize this patient service here in the constructor. So patient service equal to underscore patient service. So this ng on init will be executed when you are when you are loading the page. So in Angular, you will use console dot, what is that? Console dot is it small? Console dot log. Yeah. So console dot log will log something. So we are in ng on init of patient list component. Okay, so just to understand, so we are in constructor of patient list. So where data equal to, I can use this patient service. So patient service dot see the method name get information, right? So now you can run this application and see ng serve hyphen o. It's running. Okay, we are getting some errors. So what are those errors? Go to your dev tools. Always remember, failed the server responded with status. So there is some exception. So let's drill down. Okay, dark element type. It's not even loading. So let's see what are the errors. So console. So this we don't need it. Okay, what is the error here? Patient, something is not saved. Okay, so let's break it down and see. Even this is not okay. Yeah, it was complaining about this one only. So let me run. Yeah, yeah. So when you call it, okay. So now check your dev tools. Go to the console. See, we are in constructor patient list. Okay, we are in ng init. So let's try one more time. And you can display the data here. Console.log data data retrieved from service. Okay, so data retrieved from service. This is the patient information. So just check how the flow. So where is the code? Yeah, go to Webpack, app, patient list. Yeah, just put a breakpoint here. Yeah. So now run one more time and you will see the code. Okay. So the breakpoint hit here. First it's executing the constructor. So yeah, it's initializing the patient service. Then after that, it's executing the ng on init. Now it's loading your page and it's executing ng on init. And in ng on init, we are calling the method get information, and that get information is being called and it's returning the data, and we are displaying that data in the console. So did you understand the flow? This is your component, the patient list component.ts, and I am debugging that on the developer tools. When you deploy your application and when you run your component, that will be in the browser. So you have constructor, you have ng on init method. So in the constructor, you declared a variable in your class patient service of type patient service, and in the constructor you are injecting. This is called dependency injection. This is called dependency injection. So here you are declaring a service variable, and here you are injecting the service variable, and here you are assigning the injected. So whatever you injected in the constructor parameters, you are assigning it to the class level variable, so that object this object can be used and we can call the methods. So in the ng on init, I'm calling the method and I'm getting the data, and that data I'm displaying here. So any questions? So I declared a service, I created a service. Basically this service should call the API, but before calling API, I thought of letting you know how the service will work. So this is the service, and when you created the service, you can go to app-module.ts. It's not registered here. Routing, no. But I want to use this service within my component list. So how can we do that? You have to import the class patient service, and then you can declare a variable of the patient service at class level, and you can assign that within the constructor with the injected uh, object, and throughout your class you can use the object and call the methods. So basically you will call the methods from the service in the component. So this service will have methods get patient information list, uh, insert patient information list, which will call the API internally. Okay. So in the next session, we will see how to use this API, how to use this service to call the API and get actual list from the database, and then the list will display in the component page. Is that fine? You have any questions?